Welcome to another episode of Signals from the Inside, where we decode your body's symptoms that nobody else can explain so you can finally understand what your body is trying to tell you. I am your host, Maisie Lovett, and today we are going to be talking about symptoms equal stories. So, we're going to go over what your body is actually trying to tell you based on some of the symptoms that you might be feeling. So, your symptoms, first and foremost, they're not random, they're specific, they're patterned, and they're meaningful. They come with a story. Your body tells the story of what you've lived, the experiences, the way you've had to adapt to survive. And when you finally are able to understand what your symptoms are saying, not from your labs, because dear God, how many times do we go get labs and, oh, it's normal, you're fine, but you don't feel fine. Then we need to take a look at what is happening underneath the surface. But when you're understanding what your symptoms are trying to tell you and what they're actually saying, you stop chasing and you're able to start fully healing. So let's set the standard for the core belief, because this is something that I teach all of my clients. First and foremost, your symptoms equal stories. Your body is a communication system. Your organs talk to each other. Your blood talks to, other blood particles. Your cells are talking to each other. Every symptom that you're experiencing is connected to a deeper story that your body has been holding on to from your life. Now, I want to say this first because I don't want you to go into blaming yourself for things. I've had clients do that. They shame themselves, blame themselves, judge themselves. That's not what any of this is. This is an eye-opening piece for you to see more clearly. It's for clarity and understanding, because you didn't cause this. You didn't, oh, well, if those things wouldn't have happened in my life, I wouldn't be here today. Something else could have triggered it. You live the life that you were supposed to live. Again, this is about understanding and about how to heal it, because the last thing we want to do is keep living in the same muck. I don't want that for my people, and I definitely don't want that for you. So, your body adapted to the experiences, the environments, the patterns, every time that a situation came up that it felt threatened. Anytime it felt threatened, anytime it felt attacked, it was like, we must protect. And that's what it did. It activated that fight and flight response. Now, when your fight and flight response is activated, it is supposed to be a temporary thing. Your body comes back down to a certain point. Once the adrenaline runs off, everything's good. And we're kind of in this kumsa space. That's your rest and digest. However, chronic stress keeps you pinging higher and higher and higher in that fight and flight space. So when you're there, your body is only going to continue to protect you. All right. So here we go with the educational piece that I want you guys to take away from today. Layer one, right? We always do this in layers because trauma is like an onion. It's built of many layers. Number one, your body stores more than what you think. Your memories are typically stored as pictures, but your body stores them as felt experiences. So whether it's tension, it's pressure, it's constriction. You know how whenever you go to have a conversation with somebody or some event or something comes up and you start getting that lump in your throat, you get a tightness in your chest, you get a knot in your stomach or a heaviness in your body whenever something is about to happen or you got to go do something, or you feel, even for people who are people pleasers and they're constantly saying yes, and you get that heavy, or, oh, I don't really want to do that, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to put a smile on my face. Those feelings in your body, that's not random. They're stored emotional responses that your body never fully processed. So, how does this become symptoms? Layer two. Over time, when those responses don't get released, they start showing up physically. So maybe you start out with a little bit of digestive issues, right? Maybe you're now constipated. Maybe you get bubbly guts after you eat, or even after you just drink water. Maybe you've got IBS issues. They come up as hormonal imbalances, so estrogen dominance, or you've got irregular cycles, you've got PCOS, you've got endometriosis symptoms, chronic fatigue. Oh my gosh, I can't get out of the bed. Or it doesn't matter how much I sleep, I feel like my body never catches up. I'm always tired. And it could show up as anxiety or feeling on edge or snappy with your kids or your partner. And you're just always in this space of waiting for the next shoe to drop, you know? And it can also show up in weight resistance. Again, your body is not purposely mad at you. It's not trying to fight you and all these things. It's just letting you know, I'm still holding on to something that we haven't let go of yet. And that's what we're doing. So let me give you a couple of examples so you can kind of connect those dots. When it comes to bloating and gut issues, this can often be tied to not feeling safe to relax, or that always being on or being on edge, having to hold everything in. Think of it like a pressure cooker. You know, you put the lid on, don't take the lid off because it's pressurized in there. At some point, it's got to blow. Your digestion is going to slow down when your body doesn't feel safe. And then it feels constipated, not just physically at times, emotionally. Inflammation starts to rise, diarrhea can take account into that, and here it goes down the spiral. Anxiety and overwhelm, it's not just a mental thing that's going on in your head. Your body's stuck in a loop. I need to stay alert, need to stay alert, need to be on. I'm always looking for patterns, right? I'm always looking for things. What's the next thing? What am I looking for? Oh, that looks familiar. And then it's always anticipating, right? Anticipate, manage, control the environment. People that need to have that space of control because they fear losing control, right? Weight that doesn't budge. And this is a big one for a lot of my clients, a lot of my audience that tends to come and work with me because your body is holding on to weight from protection. It's an emotional weight, an emotional buffering, a lack of safety, a lack of stability, especially for women who have felt exposed. They felt judged or they felt unsafe and in unpredictable environments in the past, or toxic relationships or abusive relationships, things where they just kind of question, did I do something wrong? Am I the problem? When you're in that space, those things can emotionally buffer what your body is holding on to. It's just going to turn around and protect you. And then last up, fatigue. Not just a physical tiredness. This is an emotional exhaustion, typically from being the strong one or the reliable one, the one who never slows down, the people pleaser. You're in that space of fawn. All you can do is say yes, or you're the quiet one because we can't speak up. So we must stay quiet. We must cower back, shrink down. This is why when I say symptoms equal stories, what we're really saying is that your body is telling you where something hasn't been fully processed, released, or healed. Something that didn't feel safe to release. Not then, not now. It's still holding on. You're operating in the same patterns, the same protection pattern instead of full alignment. And this is true for a lot of high achieving women and typically the women that I work with, because we've learned how to function at a high level, even when our body's under pressure. You've normalized, just keep pushing through, ignore the signals until your body gets louder, right? Your symptoms aren't coming out of nowhere. They're not random, but they're definitely not something that your body is doing against you. There's something that it's doing for you to get your attention so that you can listen, you can get clarity around it, and then you know the path to healing. And this is exactly what we uncover inside of a stress map. So we're going to look at what your body is holding on to, where it's showing up, what it actually means for you and your experiences that you've lived. Not that you have to relive your experiences, but that you get to open the door for clarity and understanding that you need for your body so that everything can shift. So you can start feeling clearer, you start feeling calmer, showing up more present and peaceful with your family, having more of connection with the people around you instead of feeling like you're on autopilot. So if you're ready to stop guessing and actually understand what your symptoms are trying to tell you, I invite you to DM me MAP and let's start there. Otherwise, if you like the content that I'm putting out, go ahead and subscribe and like and follow me on social media, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.